This tutorial introduces you to the structure and function of the eye. If you like what you see on our channel, please like, share, subscribe and turn on notifications. The human eye is a roughly spherical organ responsible for perceiving visual stimuli. It is enclosed within the eye sockets in the skull and is anchored down by muscles within the sockets. Each eye constantly adjusts the amount of light it lets in, focuses on objects near and far, and produces continuous images that are instantly transmitted to the brain. Now let us understand the different parts of the eye and their functions. The outer covering of the eyeball consists of a relatively tough white layer called the sclera, which protects the inner parts of the eye. Near the front of the eye, the sclera is covered by a clear, thin, transparent membrane called conjunctiva, which lines the inside of our eyelids. It provides protection and lubrication of the eye by the production of mucus and tears. This fluid is washed across the eye by our eyelids when we blink. The cornea is the transparent part of the eye that allows the light to enter and covers the front portion of the eye. The main function of the cornea is to refract or bend light. It is responsible for focusing most of the light rays that enters the eye. Hence it plays a key role in vision. Iris is the pigmented colored part of the eye visible externally. It determines the eye color. The pupil is a small aperture or hole in the center of the iris. It allows the light to enter and focus on the retina. The main function of the iris is to regulate the amount of light that enters the eye by controlling the size of the pupil to let more or less light into the eye. When the light is bright, the iris closes the pupil and lets less light to enter. And when the light is dim, it opens up the pupil more to allow more light to enter the eye. Now behind the pupil lies the lens, which is a clear biconvex crystalline structure. It is held in place by the suspensory ligaments. It is flexible so it can change shape and bend the light to focus properly on the retina to create a sharp image. To do this, the lens uses the help of ciliary muscles to stretch and thin out when focusing on distant objects, or to shrink and thicken when focusing on near objects. The space between the lens and the cornea is filled with a clear watery liquid called the aqueous humor. It helps to keep the lens moist, protects it from mechanical shock, and it refracts light. The space behind the lens is filled with a transparent jelly-like thick fluid called the vitreous humor. It serves two functions. It helps in keeping the shape of the eyeball and it protects the retina and its nerve endings. The thin layer of tissue attached to the sclera on its inner side, which is a part of the middle layer of the eye, is called the choroid. It is richly supplied with blood vessels for providing nourishment to the eye. It contains a dark pigment called melanin, which prevents light rays from reflecting and scattering inside the eye. In front of the eye, the choroid expands to form the ciliary muscles. These ciliary muscles alter the shape of the lens. The retina, or the innermost layer of the eye, is sensitive to light and consists of numerous nerve cells. It converts images formed by the lens into electrical impulses. These electrical impulses are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerves. The retina contains two types of cells called the rods and cones. The rod cells are located mainly around the periphery of the retina and allow us to see in dim light. They only allow us to see in black and white and show us a less detailed vision. Cone cells are located in the center of the retina and are able to detect different colors like red, green and blue. They only respond to bright light and help in sharp or detailed vision. At the junction of the optic nerve and the retina, there are no rod and cone cells. So the light falling at this spot does not form any image. Hence, this point is known as a blind spot. The yellow spot or fovea or macula contains a very high concentration of cones which are tightly packed. As a result, this is the region responsible for sharp, detailed, central and colored vision. You must be wondering how light passes through the eye and how do we see? Stay tuned as we continue our journey through the human eye in our next tutorial.